People will never criticize a system that benefits them even when it crushes the souls of others. Self-interest often blinds individuals to the suffering of those outside their immediate circles. This phenomenon is not new, and history, psychology, and even modern data show how systems of inequality persist because those who benefit from them remain willfully ignorant or apathetic to their consequences. Whether it's in social hierarchies, political systems, or economic structures, the tendency to ignore injustice when personally profiting is a well-documented and troubling aspect of human nature. History is rife with examples of powerful groups turning a blind eye to injustices that benefit them. Perhaps one of the most striking examples is the institution of slavery. For centuries, slavery was not just accepted but actively defended by those who profited from it, including politicians, landowners, and even intellectuals. In the United States, slavery was a backbone of the economy in the South, benefiting landowners and traders while enslaving millions of African Americans. While abolitionists fought against it, the vast majority of those in power did not question the system because it worked in their favor. Their wealth and comfort were built on the dehumanization and exploitation of others, and criticizing the system would mean acknowledging their complicity. This same dynamic played out during the rise of industrial capitalism in the 19th century, where factory owners grew rich while workers toiled in dangerous, inhumane conditions. Despite the clear exploitation, many of the wealthy elite either ignored the suffering of the working class or rationalized it as a necessary cost of progress. The reluctance to criticize systems that benefit us can be explained by several cognitive biases. One of the most relevant is cognitive dissonance, the mental discomfort experienced when holding two conflicting beliefs or values. For someone benefiting from an unjust system, acknowledging the harm it causes others would create cognitive dissonance. To resolve this discomfort, people often engage in rationalization or denial, convincing themselves that the system is fair or that the victims are somehow responsible for their suffering. The just world hypothesis further complicates this behavior. According to this theory, people have a psychological need to believe that the world is fair, which leads them to rationalize inequality as deserved. A 2017 study published in Social Psychological and Personality Science found that individuals who benefit from an unfair system are more likely to justify it as fair or necessary. This bias makes it difficult for those in privileged positions to see the system as inherently unjust, reinforcing their resistance to change. Modern data reflects this dynamic. According to a 2020 report by the Economic Policy Institute, the top 1% of earners in the US now capture more than 20% of total national income, a figure that has steadily grown over the past 4 decades. Despite this glaring economic inequality, many wealthy individuals and corporations resist policies that would redistribute wealth or provide greater protections for workers, because these systems benefit them. Moreover, a 2018 study by Pew Research Center found that those with higher incomes are significantly less likely to view economic inequality as a major problem, underscoring how personal benefit shapes perceptions of systemic issues. From a common-sense perspective, it is easy to understand why people resist criticizing systems that work in their favor. Acknowledging the flaws of such systems might lead to uncomfortable consequences, guilt, the pressure to change one's behavior, or the realization that one's comfort is built on someone else's suffering. It's much easier to maintain the status quo than to question it, especially when the benefits are tangible and immediate, while the harms are abstract and distant. History shows how this pattern has perpetuated systems of oppression, from slavery to economic exploitation. Biases like cognitive dissonance and the just world hypothesis reinforce this reluctance to challenge systems of inequality. In today's world, statistical evidence of economic disparity highlights how those at the top often remain indifferent to the struggles of those below. Ultimately, this insight serves as a reminder that meaningful change requires not only recognizing injustice but also the courage to criticize systems that benefit us at the expense of others.